Today in social studies, we are going to look at how a large city has changed. And maybe you will recognize the city, maybe you have heard of the city before, because it is right here in the United States. First, we're going to take a look at a photograph. And when I show you the photograph, I'm going to want you to think of a couple things and ask yourself a couple questions. What do you see in this photograph? What kind of a community is it? And tell what you think it is like to live, work, and play in this community. So the photograph that you see off to the side here, I'm going to show you in a bigger picture here in just a second. So what kind of a community is it? And what do you think it is like to live, work, and play in this community? What do you see? So here's that same photograph, just a little bit bigger. What do you see? There's a lot to take in this photograph. I bet you can see geographic landforms, an urban community, tall buildings, traffic, valleys, mountains. So this photograph shows Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is a large city in Southern California. So the state of California, but in the southern part of the state. So if you looked at it on a map, it'd really be closer to the bottom of the state. Los Angeles. Have you ever heard of Los Angeles before? Maybe you have. Sometimes it's also called LA. Sometimes they abbreviate it. And they shorten it and they call it LA. But that's also Los Angeles. But that photograph that you just looked at, that's not how it always looked. So let's read about how Los Angeles grew. Take a look at this photograph. What do you think you're looking at here? What do you think this is? So this is reading further in chapter 9. And this is Los Angeles grows. Los Angeles is a huge, busy city. But long ago, it was mostly farmland. Cows grazed where buildings now sit. How did this community grow and change? In 1781, people from Mexico built a farming town where Los Angeles stands now. They named the new community El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Angeles. This means the town of the Queen of the Angels. So the photograph that we're looking at here, where it's mostly farmland, that's Los Angeles. It says at first, most people in the town farmed. Wow, what a difference from the big city we just looked at. And our first heading is about the early days. The people quickly built houses. On Olvera Street, they built a plaza. A plaza is a town square. There, people talked with their neighbors. They celebrated holidays together. The plaza felt just like home. The small town grew quickly. It filled with many people. Some people came from Mexico. Others came from different parts of the United States. People came from other countries too. Los Angeles was a popular place to live. That is sort of starting to explain how that other photograph we looked at came to be. Because that was a huge, huge, huge community that we looked at before. And if it came from a really small farmland, but it was a really popular place to live, it was going to grow. So in this photograph, we are looking at the plaza, which was the center of the community. was the town square where people loved to gather. It said that the plaza felt just like home. Our next heading, the city grows and changes. Life in Los Angeles began to change. As the city got larger, new neighborhoods popped up. Families moved away from Olvera Street. They built new houses in other parts of town. The plaza had been busy and joyful. Now it was quiet and sad. Buildings were ready to fall down. Olvera Street looked like a dirty alley. The smell of garbage filled the air. No one seemed to care about the old town of Los Angeles. And look here, we have a nonfiction text feature and something we've seen before in social studies. We have a map and a map key and a compass rose. So we can see Los Angeles. And look, even here. Here's the plaza. So right here, where you can see the dots in that square, that was Los Angeles in 1875. So where I drew the green square, that's Los Angeles in 1875. And all the other yellow, that's Los Angeles today. Now this is zoomed in. Right here, where I'm drawing a big square, this is where it's showing you California. This is California, and it's on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. It's a really long state, isn't it? And right down here, where you can see the red box, that's Los Angeles. So it's in the southern part of California. And our last heading, a big, busy city. Los Angeles kept growing. Today, the city is spread over many miles. Homes, schools, and stores fill the neighborhoods. The city has railroads, highways, skyscrapers, hotels, museums, and parks. It also has crowded sidewalks and traffic. What happened to old Los Angeles? The old plaza still stands. People raised money to fix the old buildings and markets there. Now people visit the old part of town. They hear Mexican music there. They walk through the old houses. They dance in the plaza. Los Angeles has changed, but the plaza reminds people of how the city began. And in this photograph, we see the old plaza is full of life. So this is a picture of the old plaza, but today, people still are using it. They use it to dance and hear music and think about how Los Angeles has changed from a small town where they used farmland to a big, busy urban community.